Hello everyone, welcome to Southern Wreaths. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and share my video. Today I'm going to show you how I make this burlap flower wreath. These are the supplies I'm thinking about using to make this wreath. I've already started it because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I just knew I wanted to use this 12-inch burlap that I had in my stash. And then I have this tool left over from last year. So I thought I might be able to incorporate that somehow. Kind of made the ends pointy. So we'll see. I'm using one of these 8-inch rings you get from Dollar Tree. It comes in a 2-pack. I'm not sure where this burlap came from, but it's 12 inches by 10 yards. And these came from Dollar Tree, but you could use any decorative tool that you like. I'm also going to use pipe cleaners instead of zip ties. I don't have big enough zip ties, I don't think, to do this. So I'll show you how I'm making my petals. I'm going to cut the burlap at 12 inches. This is not any kind of special burlap, so it is flimsy. So I'm just going with it to see how it's going to look. So I'm cutting it, it's pretty much a square. So I just turn it over, and then I'm going to take these corners and bring them together to where these are at a point. Then I just kind of gather it, turn it over, and just twist in the middle. And I end up with my petals. And I'm cutting the pipe cleaner in half. You could use a whole one if you'd like. And I'm just going to bend it, get a good grip, and wrap it tightly around the bottom. And you could use zip ties if you want. And then I'm just attaching it to the 2 center rings. Probably going to put something in the middle. Not 100% sure yet. Just kind of going with the flow. I just know I want it to be a fall theme. And I am doing these tight, but not so tight that you can't move them, because I'm not sure how many petals I want to put in each section. So I'm thinking 4 right now, and then there'll be something to cover these up. So here, I'll show you how I made my petal again. I measured to 12, and then I just kind of move it over so I can cut it easier. I'm just using my rotary cutter. Then I turn it over, overlap the burlap in the middle, gather it. This is what it looks like once you gather it. There's 2 pointy ends. And then I just kind of pull it together and overlap it a little bit. And you end up with your petals. Then take my other half of the pipe cleaner, wrap it around the bottom, and twist. And then again, I'm using the 2 center rings. And I'm going to wrap it around those. And then I just kind of tuck it up so it's not sticking out of the back. Right there. Just kind of spread them out a little bit. See, they're kind of flimsy, but the ring seems to be holding them up pretty well. So I think I'm going to add 4 each to these, and then I'll figure out where I want to go after that. I'm not going to use this center, but you could buy a center. I get mine from Craft Outlet to place on here. One, I don't like this color, and I don't want this kind of center. I think I'm either going to wrap it with one of these. Well, I'm honestly not sure what I'm going to do yet. I do know I want another row, but I don't know if I want another row of burlap or if I want to add the tulle. This is a little different because I've never done anything like this before. I'm going to gather it, twist it, and then kind of stick it in there. I could do something like that throughout, and then use this one for the center. So I'm going to add canvas to the inside so I have something to attach the tulle to. So this is called canvas. It's like plastic canvas. You can actually use it to like sew with yarn. This is the other wreath frame I have from that pack, but ideally you would do this before you do your other wreath. I was just kind of not thinking and just going with the flow. So I am going to use a marker. You could probably use a pen as well. I'm going to go on the inside of this middle ring and trace it. I don't want to go on the inside. I want to go on the outside, sorry. That way it's larger than this, so I can attach it with zip ties. So I'll just cut this out and then I'll show you how I attach it. So I'm going to turn my frame upside down like this. Put my canvas on there, and then I have zip ties. You probably want to use clear or orange zip ties with this, whatever matches. And it doesn't matter what color this is, it's going to be covered up. And I'd like to take the tip of my zip tie and kind of curl it, and that way it loops back up towards me. I'm sticking it from the second from the inside little box, and then I'll squeeze it, and then I go directly across from it and add my next one. And I go 2 in because sometimes they when you squeeze them tightly, it'll pop through that one of those squares because it's plastic. So this way I have another square holding it in place. Then I'll do it here. And this just gives your mesh, burlap, or tulle something to grab a hold of. So I'll feed the pipe cleaners through this when I'm attaching the tulle. Once I'm done adding, I'll go through and clip these off. And this is what it looks like from the front. Oops, wrong spot. Alright, I'm going to measure this out to make sure I get them all the same. So this comes out about 16 inches. I'm just going to see if I like the way this looks. I think that's really cute. I'm going to keep adding these. This time I cut the pipe cleaners into thirds because I don't need as much. This isn't super thick. So I just gather it like I did before. I'm going to wrap it around the bottom, twist it tightly. Except this time I'm going to be feeding it through the canvas. I'm going to put it in between two, and I think I want it right about there. So if you want to know exactly where I'm at, I am, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in from the outside. And I'm just going to kind of fluff it up. Here, I'll show you one more time. I think I cut it at 18 to begin. And then you're just going to do the opposite of dovetailing. So when you dovetail, you cut it an angle one way. Well, this time I'm going to cut it a different way. So what I did was fold it in half this way, and then fold it in half this way. And I'm going to cut from the loose side to the folded side at an angle. And I end up with my point. This one's slightly longer, but not by much. I gather it in the middle, flip it up. That's creating the petals. Fold that in half, pinch it right here, and twist. And then again, to attach it, I'm going in between the two. So I'll go right here and add it to my canvas. And I'm doing it tightly. I don't want this to move or slide out. And just kind of fluff it up. Alright, I'm going to go through and finish adding. I'll let you know how many I end up with. So on the outside I have 12 of the burlap, and I'll let you know how many of those I end up with. So I changed plans. I only had enough to do 4 petals of this. So in between that, I cut the orange tulle. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's got, yeah, you probably can't. It's got lots of glitter in it. But I don't have enough to double them because I don't like how sheer it is. So I dug into my stash and grabbed just this regular orange tulle. And I'm going to cut it and double up the tulle on the glitter tulle. I'm just going to put this underneath. I'm not sure about the center yet. I'm thinking, like off the top of my head, I'm thinking I'll just do a burlap center. But we'll see. I'm gonna undo that. Just gonna add that on top. And again, I know it's really hard to see. I wish you could see it. It's got lots of glitter in it. You can see a little bit. So the one underneath doesn't, but when they're overlapped, they look really nice together. One of them is a little more orange than the other, but it's all fall colors, so it works out. So what I'm going to do is alternate. So I'm going to have the leaf tulle and then the sheer tulle. And I'm doing it the same way where I feed it through and twist it on the back. And then just kind of fluff it out. And then the next one will be the leaf tulle again. And then I'm just going to continue going around and add everything in. This is what it looks like when I'm finished adding everything. I found this piece of foam. You could use cardboard or pretty much anything. I am going to trim these little sides off. This came in like a tea set, so it's pretty thick. I'm just going to wrap it in burlap and stick it in the center. I think that'll cover really well. I think that's a good size too. It may be a little too thick, but there's not really much I can do about that because I don't want to cut that and make a big mess. I'm probably going to have to wrap it in burlap twice because you can see through it. But I may just add a piece of cardboard or something that's brown so you can't really tell. Okay, so to cover up the center, I'm just going to use this piece of cardboard I cut out. And for the sides, I have this scrap piece of burlap ribbon because you can still see the white on the sides. I'm just going to double it over and, you know, add a little bit of hot glue. It doesn't have to look perfect because it's all going to be covered in the burlap. You just don't want to really see the bright white underneath it. Be careful when you're messing with hot glue with any kind of burlap because it's an open weave. So the hot glue just sticks straight through. So you can burn yourself. If you have a low setting on your hot glue gun, that's the one I would use for messing with burlap. I'm going to do the folded side sticking up. That's just because I think it looks a little bit nicer. And then just kind of wrap it around the foam. And again, use whatever you have. If you want to buy one of those centers to make your life easier, you can. You could use all cardboard. You could, If you want it really thick, you could just cut a bunch of those and stack them up. There are so many different centers to flower wreaths I've seen. So you do whatever you like. I think I'm going to recut this because you can still see the white through it. Okay, this one's a much better fit. And then after I glue it on, if I need to cut down the sides, I can. So I'm just going to add a lot of hot glue. Hot glue is melting the styrofoam, so it's not sticking like really, really well. But once I wrap it in the burlap, it should be okay. Just kind of rounding it out. All right, now for my burlap. I'm going to cut it bigger than I need so I can trim it away. There's like this yucky piece. Okay. All right, so the covered part down, and then I'm just going to start pulling it around to the back. I'm going to add the other piece of cardboard back here just so my burlap has something to stick to because the hot glue is not working very well on the foam. I think this will work better. Now I'll try. This is going to take a while, so I'm just going to speed it up for you. I don't think I'm going to need to wrap it 2 times because that looks pretty good. Okay, so to attach this, I am going to try to feed some pipe cleaners through here. Then use some glue to make sure it stays there. I'm just gonna let that dry and then I'll attach it to the frame. After it dries a little bit, I'm gonna twist these together. So even if the glue doesn't hold it, at least it's twisted around the different burlap. And then I have the 4 points. So I'm going to feed this through the back of the canvas and try my best to get it as centered as I can. That looks pretty good. The great thing about using pipe cleaners is I can always undo it and fix it if I don't like it. You can see the back of this has lots of things poking out, so I'm going to use some cardboard to cover the back, and I'm just going to hot glue that on there. I'm going to use this to help me measure. I'm just going to use a pencil, and I'm just going around the outside. It doesn't have to be perfect. You could also use felt. I'm going to add it all over the cardboard on this side so the pretty side's facing out. And you could also use zip ties, but that kind of defeats the purpose of me covering up the zip ties. Just going to press it down and let it grab a hold of whatever's there. The last thing I'm going to do is find out how I want to hang it. I'm going to take a pipe cleaner. Feed it through between the cardboard and the frame. Just pull it down until I'm happy with where it's at. And then I take the pipe cleaner and stick it through the loop. And then I'm just going to twist it around the side. And this will create my hook so it can be hung. Now I can hang it. Alright, that's it. That's how I made my burlap fall flower wreath. If y'all have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or you can email me at craftingwithlee@yahoo.com. Thanks so much for watching, and if y'all learned anything today, or if you like my video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.